Good morning, classmates. Good morning, sir. I'm Maria Patrocenia de Guia, and my co-presenter is Miss Lizalyn Sanguines, and we will be discussing information systems security. Information security, as we know, has been predominantly featured in the internet simply because everybody accessing everybody else's information. So the security features should up to the mark, and there are a lot of problems with people who are trying to steal information or people who are trying to divert the information from one to another. Security is an umbrella term used for policies, procedures, and any technical measures used to prevent unauthorized access to computer, alteration of data, theft of data, or even physical damage to the information systems, like basically making computers incapacitated. So, what are the objectives? At the end of this discussion, we will be able to evaluate information systems susceptible to misuse, mistake, and destruction, determine the importance of security and control to the businesses, discuss the framework for corporate security and control, and identify the technologies and tools most crucial for protecting information resources. Why systems are vulnerable? As computers and other digital devices have become essential to business and commerce, they have also increasingly become a target for attacks. In order for a company or an individual to use a computing device with confidence, they must first be assured that the device is not compromised in any way and that all communications will be secured. Large data sets that are kept in electronic form are much open to threats than those that are kept in manual form. Information systems in various locations are connected via communications networks. Any access point in the network has the potential to allow unwanted access, misuse, or fraud. It is not only possible at certain locations. Hackers can launch denial of service attacks or malicious softwares that can penetrate corporate networks, causing serious disruption to their websites or information. Next is the contemporary security challenges and vulnerabilities. Example, we have a client, and these clients are having an unauthorized access, or they can provide or can do some access with some errors. The clients are connected to corporate servers using communication lines. This could be a variety or an internet, or it could be mobile, regular networks, and these communication lines can have problems. Problems wherein people can tap into these communication lines. They can use what are called sniffers and use sniffing methodologies to find out what is happening. So for instance, I can be outside your home or in my car, or I can be pretty much using software. I can see what you're doing inside your house, what financial transactions you're going to do, what emails you're sending, who are chatting with you. These things can be done very easily by certain softwares. So all these things can be happening, like these are called the tapping and stuffings. You can alter the messages, you can do theft and fraud and all those kinds of things as well, basically. So the communication lines are the ones were very vulnerable. In the corporate servers, once we reach the corporate servers can be hacked. They can have malware, malicious software. These are called malware. Malware or malicious softwares, you can have theft and fraud of corporate servers. You can have vandalism and denial of service. Denial of service basically is when you are authenticated, when you use your user ID and password, which then you should be able to look at it. If it is denied with the right user ID and password, even after putting the right user ID and password, if it gets denied, that is denial of service attack. So all these things can happen in the corporate servers, wherein the servers are connected to each other. You can have databases with lots of information. So basically, all these are the vulnerabilities and challenges that are posed on computers around the world, and every corporation or organization or company or every house has to take precautionary measures so that information security is of utmost importance, and nobody can steal your data or do fraud with you. So that is the basic idea of these information security challenges. System vulnerability and abuse. If we rely on the computer to operate our company or business, a breakdown may prevent from selling to clients or placing orders with suppliers. There is a possibility that strangers broke into our computer system and stole or destroyed sensitive data. So, if we run a firm today, we make sure that security and control is our top priority. Information systems are protected against illegal access, modification, theft, and physical damage by rules, procedures, and technology safeguards. So, because of this, they are essentially accessible to everyone. Large public networks like internet are more susceptible than internal networks because of how big the internet is. When abuses do happen, they may be very widely felt because they utilize fixed internet addresses where they can be clearly recognized. Computers that are continually connected to the internet through cable modems are more vulnerable to intrusion by outsiders. So, wireless security challenges. Key factors contributing to higher security risk of wireless network compared to wired networks include channel wireless networking. Typically involves broadcast communication, which is far more susceptible to eavesdropping and jamming than wired networks. Wireless networks are also more vulnerable to active attacks that exploit vulnerabilities in communication protocols. Mobility wireless devices are far more portable and mobile, thus resulting in a number of risks. Some wireless devices, such as smartphones and tablets, have sophisticated operating systems but limited memory and processing resources with which to counter threats, including denial of service and malware. Contemporary security challenges and vulnerabilities. Threats to computerized information systems include hardware and software failure, user errors, physical disasters such as fire or power failure, theft of data, services and equipment, unauthorized use of data, and telecommunications disruptions. Online systems and telecommunications are especially vulnerable because data and files can be immediately and directly accessed. through computer terminals or at points in the telecommunication networks. Malicious software or malware includes threats such as worms, Trojan horses, and computer infections. A computer virus involves software that executes when attached to other software programs or data files, often without the knowledge or consent of the user. Worms are independent computer programs that copy themselves to computers over a network independently from other computer programs or files, and therefore spread more rapidly. Worms obliterate data and programs, impede or even stop computer networks from functioning, and destroy data and programs. Worms and viruses are often transmitted via the internet through downloaded software files, files attached to email communications, compromised email messages, online advertisement, and instant messaging. A Trojan horse is an apparently benign program that actually performs some hidden action, such as installing malicious code or compromising the security of a computer. Spyware can also act as malicious software by obtaining information about users' buying habits and infringing on privacy. Keyloggers record keystroke made on a computer to discover steal serial numbers for software and passwords. A hacker is an individual who intends to gain unauthorized access to a computer system. Hackers spoof or misrepresent themselves by using fake email addresses or masquerading as someone else. Hackers' activities includes: number 1, the spoofing, hiding of the hackers' true identities or email addresses, or redirecting a web link to a different website that benefits the hacker. Theft or proprietary information. A sniffer is an eavesdropping program that monitors network information and can enable hackers to steal proprietary information transmitting over the network. Denial of service attacks, flooding a network or server with thousands of false communications to crash or disrupt the network. A distributed denial of service attack uses hundreds or even thousands of computers to inundate and overwhelm the network from numerous launch points. Hackers can infect thousands of unsuspecting user computers with malicious software to form a bonnet of resources for launching the denial of service attack. Identity theft is a crime when fraudster steals vital pieces of personal data, including social security numbers, license numbers, or credit card numbers in order to pose as someone else. Next is the click fraud. When a person or computer program falsely clicks on an internet advertisement without intending to find out more about the advertiser or make a purchase. Cyber terrorism or cyber warfare is infiltrating an adversary state or country's system or networks with the intention of inflicting harm and disruption. So the next is the business value of security and control. Digital data are vulnerable to destruction, misuse, error, fraud, and hardware or software failures. The internet is designed to be an open system and makes internal corporate systems more vulnerable to actions from outsiders. Hackers can unleash denial of service attacks or penetrate corporate networks, causing serious system disruption. Wi-Fi networks can easily be penetrated by intruders using sniffer programs to obtain an address to access the resources of the network. Computer viruses and worms can disable systems and websites. The dispersed nature of cloud computing makes it difficult to track unauthorized activity or to apply controls from afar. Software presents problem because software bugs may be impossible to eliminate and because software vulnerabilities can be exploited by hackers and malicious software. End users often introduce errors. Lack of sound security and control can cause firms relying on computer systems for their core business functions to lose sales and productivity. Information assets such as confidential employee record, trade secrets, or business plans lose much of their value if they are revealed to outsiders or if they expose the firm to legal liability. New laws such as the Personal Information Protection and Electronic Documents Act require companies to practice stringent electronic records management and adhere to strict standards for security, privacy, and control. Legal actions requiring electronic evidence and computer forensics also require firms to pay more attention to security and electronic record management. Electronic evidence and computer forensics. Electronic documents, email, and other records are neatly structured, accessible, and neither keep for too long nor disposed of too soon when they are subject to a successful electronic document retention policy. It demonstrates knowledge of evidence preservation techniques for computer forensics. Data kept on or recovered from computer storage media are collected, examined, authenticated, preserved, and scientifically analyzed in computer forensics in order to make the data admissible as evidence in a court law. It addresses the following issues, like recovering data from computers while preserving evidential integrity, secure storing and handling recovered electronic data, finding significant information in a large volume of electronic data, and lastly, presenting the information to a court law. So that ends my presentation, and the next reporter will be Miss Lisalyn Sanguines, and she will be discussing the next slide, which is the establishing a framework for security and control. Thank you so much for listening.